YouTube, it's Brad Phillips. We got the Blade 230S. This thing is beautiful. I'm not into helis like I am into airplanes, but I still love them. And here's the thing. This thing is easy to fly, and I'm going to demonstrate right now. I'm not an expert. I'm in the beginner or intermediate this whole time we're flying. Okay, throttle holds off. Yes, they do call it throttle hold on a helicopter. I'm going to let it spin up. Let it get the wiggles out. This flies on an 850 milliamp 3S. And as you can see, almost hands off right now, which is pretty incredible. Yes, we have safe. Yes, we have feedback. That is awesome. This battery can be charged at 4 times, or rather 4.2 amps, which is crazy. You can do it super fast. All right, let's just get right into it. This is why I love this heli. Look. I can do loops. That is amazing. Okay, I am back in safe because I'm just a pansy helicopter pilot. The camera crew is trying desperately. Somewhere in this video, we're gonna show the crop duster that was flying, oh, I would say about right there. So just to remind you guys to be careful about manned aircraft. People are more important than toys that are awesome, even though they are awesome. Okay, so here we go. Into the intermediate mode. And look how awesome that save is. That is so cool, guys. And safe. That is just crazy. The confidence that this safe gives you is so different than the airplanes, because in the airplanes, you know, they're going forward. You kind of know the trajectory. Yes, they can get away from you, but look how sweet this is. Guys, I'm not a heli pilot, folks. I mean, I don't even play one on TV, folks. This is just, this helicopter is easy to fly. It's not intimidating at all. The camera crew does fly it at the end. But I mean, it's, you know, I mean, it's not like a long flight. Let's go up high. Let's try something crazy. Okay, I want to try this. All right, so intermediate mode. Oh, that is so cool. I'm trying to do a barrel roll. So the other thing too is, some of you guys seem to think that I fly helicopters. I don't give myself enough credit for being able to do it. I honestly don't think I'm a great heli pilot, but I can do it. I just need all the stabilizers and help aids that come with them. But we were talking about this, between this and like the E-Sheen, I think it was the E180, which is pretty advanced. It's similar size class, a little bit smaller, I think. And then the 160, of course, which is a little bit smaller still, but still super robust. Very nice helicopters, similar price points, still ready to fly. But man, they are intimidating to fly, guys. So intimidating. This thing is just like child's play compared to them. And, you know, obviously this comes with the smart transmitter, which is the DXS. It's very simple, but it does the trick. I feel like the gimbals are nice and tight and crisp, and I have plenty of control. Lots of expo has been taken into consideration on the flight controller, so it's very easy to fly, and I don't even have a programmable transmitter going on here. Okay, so real quick, I want to show you one thing too. If you get this thing and you put it into, I want to see what advanced mode looks like. It's probably going to be insane. Okay, so here we go. So there's advanced mode, so it's idle up, it's true everything. Okay, so whoa, that's crazy. I don't know what the heck that was, but I'm not a good enough pilot to find out. That's what I did. I went up a few mistakes high, and then I got my insanity out of my system instead of doing it down here low. You'll notice I didn't crash this one yet. I think I crashed the 180 when we flew that.
Yeah, I think so.
Man, that looks so good, guys. Look how sweet this is. Just to give you some size comparison, I'm not gonna catch it, even though I totally could. I could totally catch that. Don't do that. That's what Enrique did, okay? Enrique, if you're watching, that's how you do that. He did a whole concert after that. What a crazy person. Enrique Iglesias. So folks, what do you think of this thing? I think it's sweet. I also am not an expert heli pilot, so I don't mean to take anything away from other awesome helicopters, but I can definitely tell you this. I love the way it looks. I love the way it flies. It's fun to fly, and I love, love, love the fact that I can do that craziness and then safe. I mean, it takes all the fear out. I mean, it doesn't take all the fear out, but it takes most of the fear out. That looks so sweet.
See, this is the experience I was hoping you would have with that Blade CP1 or whatever.
Yeah,
like
the
15
CP1.
years ago.
15 years ago?
This is what I was hoping it would do.
And it was totally not that
Not
experience. It was like the opposite experience. But I mean, look at this. We're just having a nice conversation here. It's flying between us at super high RPMs. It could throw a blade and kill both of us, and simultaneously, that's just a joke, guys. It wouldn't. But at the same time, I wouldn't want to get hit by him either.
No.
So.
Are we taking our helicopter for a walk?
Well, no, I kind of consumed all the battery. So just so you know, there is a JST to IC2 connector if you choose not to get the smart battery. I would, of course, recommend it because they just work really nice. And of course, they're going to give you the full suite of control on the telemetry. I do notice that the center of sticks on throttle is a little bit wonky on this helicopter, and that's actually probably the way it's designed. And we do have a little bit of wind, just so you guys know. Not trying to make excuses, just trying to help you get a full picture of what's going on in the environment, because it's hard to tell. The windsock isn't moving because it's just a lighter wind, but there is most definitely wind. Man, that looks so sweet. Flight times are reasonable. Can you tell from the video time how long we've been flying?
A little over 7 minutes.
7 minutes, and
Probably
I've not
right
been
at 7
super nice to it. Also not super hard. Do you want to see if we can do a grass landing just to show the people? Should be no problem. Grass takeoffs are harder because you see that tail is going to want to try to spin up, and it won't be able to. See? Then it's going to freak out. So you got to get it out of the grass quick and then fly. And that's one thing you're going to learn when you fly helis. You do kind of have to get up and away from ground effect. Ground effect would be, you know, 1 to 2, 3 times the size of the aircraft that you're flying. So I'm in ground effect now. Ground effect is a pretty big factor on fixed wing. I don't know if it's as big a factor on helis, but I know that it is a factor, especially on takeoff, because you've got all that prop wash. So maybe it's not so much ground effect as it is prop wash. But look at this, guys. I'm low. I mean, there's people that can do much cooler things, but I just love looking at that. And I'm hands off right now. Not anymore, because I don't want to hit the grass. But this thing is just phenomenal. Very, very good flying helicopter. Very fun, very beautiful. I love the way it looks in the air. Love the way it flies. Love the way it sounds. It's a good price point for what you get. Oh, that looks so cool next to the sunset. And I kind of hate gushing about things that I'm not like super expert on. I feel like the helicopters I'm not super expert on. And so I feel like when I gush on them, I just make myself look like a fool. But at the same time, the experience we have, it's hard to translate that sometimes. And I feel like the helicopters, you know, I appreciate the experience. It's definitely not my go-to everyday. Fixed wing is. But I love the way that this thing flies. It's just so much fun. It's so effortless. And yet you can do all the cool tricks you want to do. And not in like an Ishin press a button and it does it for you kind of way. It's more in a like, you've got lots of flight controllers helping you do it kind of way. So it feels like you're doing it even though you're really not. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Okay.
And I mean, I fly with you all the time, but I can tell that you're a lot less.
I'm way more
nervous.
confident. Oh, and
Yeah.
I'm flashing on the last light, so that means I should probably land.
Okay.
Sorry to interrupt you or cut you
you're
off
good.
there. The thing that's nice about helicopters, you don't have to have a landing strip, but we have one, so we're gonna use it. and then stick all the way down, throttle cut. Boy, guys, this thing is just super nice. I love the way it flies. Brushless motors on the tail, brushless motor on the main. Digital servos, super powerful digital servos. They didn't skimp on anything. I mean, it just looks good. It flies good. It's got everything that you want. I mean, I don't know what there's to say about it beyond just the fact that it's awesome and you should buy one. Now, the question becomes, do you buy the ready to fly or do you buy the bind and fly? In my opinion, the ready to fly might be the better pick, just because if you don't have that 850 milliamp 3S pack with the IC2, you might want it. It does come with the adapter from the IC2 over to the IC3 so that you can charge it on your regular chargers, but it also comes with the charger, the S120, which is what comes in the other ready to fly packages. So really happy with it. Didn't have any issues with the DXS on this, obviously. It does have a bind plug here. I don't think this flight controller has a push button like they do on some of the AR637Ts and the AR631s like we do in the fixed wings. But this one does have the bind plug provided in the bag. There's a couple of spare parts like these little connectors here and things like that. But let's be honest, if you're going to crash this thing, you're going to have to buy parts because helis have a tendency to break a lot of parts when they crash. I honestly don't know how it would fare in a crash. I don't want to crash it to find out.
No.
I mean, it just flies so good. I feel like you would have to really be pushing the envelope to get it to crash, and people will. So that's one of the reasons why when you buy a helicopter, it is really nice to go with a Horizon Hobby type of company. I'm not saying they're the only ones out there, but I can tell you this right now. If you need a part for a Horizon, if it's not back ordered like everything else right now, you can actually get the parts. Whereas with some of the other brands, and I'm not saying you can't get parts for any of them, but you can't get parts for most of them. And that means that you end up with a $100 piece of garbage when you break a small part, or you're going and reinventing the wheel to fix it. Now that may not be a problem for some of you. Maybe you got tons of spare parts from other crashed helis. But my experience has been, especially when you're new to the hobby, this is the type of thing, if you're gonna spend the kind of cash to get this as a ready to fly, you wanna be able to get some spare parts, guys. This flies good. You also have to take, you know, my experience and apply it to what you've seen in the past. I do fly a lot of airplanes. I have a lot of skill in that skill set, and they are similar skill sets. But there's a lot of carryover from heli to airplane and airplane to heli, but they are not equivalent. So if you know how to fly a plane, you'll be able to fly this, no problem. If you know how to fly helicopters, you'll be able to fly this, no problem. If you fly quads, you should be able to fly this, no problem. If you don't know how to fly airplanes, and you don't know how to fly quads, and you don't know how to fly this either. So you can use a simulator, but really with safe, this thing is pretty easy to fly. I will liken it to the little quick Christmas gifts that you get that cost 40 bucks, you know, at Walmart. You know, the just a little cheap $40 ones that you get. This is not a cheap $40 one, but it flies like that in terms of how hard it is. That's what I'm likening it to. It's very easy. Some other safe equipped aircraft in the non-fixed wing have been swing and misses. Sorry, Horizon. This is definitely not one of them. It's good. It's good. And I'm thinking of a VTOL in my experience. It's probably one of my least favorite safe equipped aircraft.
Can our oldest fly that?
Oh yeah. Yeah, Andrew could fly this. Yep, he could fly this, and he would be okay with it. Now, he's going to be a lot more careful than I am. He's definitely not going to throw it out of the beginner mode, but that's fine. So I'm really, really good with this. I think it's great. I think it's going to be something you guys would like. Is it a good transition into helis? Yes, but I'm going to say this right now in a heli review. I like fixed wing better, and you need to know that, full disclosure. I think it's more fun. I think the experience is more immersive, unless you're doing 3D stuff with these things, which I just still find it to be insane, even when I've got Safe helping me. I still feel like fixed wing is the most immersive, most awesome experience you can get in RC, and I've done them all, okay? Well, maybe not all aspects of every RC experience, but I've done most of the different types of vehicles you can do. And I still feel like fixed wing is the best one you can do. Partially because I'm bent toward that. That's my preference, my bias. But partly because I've done the other ones and I've appreciated them for different reasons, while fixed wing gives me the most bang for the buck, I feel. This is really good. With all that being understood, I still really like it. So you want to know where the rest of my helis are?
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Oh, no.
It's inactivity. Just move the stick and it'll stop doing that. They're in a closet.
Taking up my space.
Yeah, but this one won't be in a closet. It'll sit out to take up your space.
Oh, good. My favorite kind.
So guys, that's all I got for you. This thing is awesome. I also think it would probably fit a bigger pack than that 850. I'd like to try the 1300, but we have to get the right type of adapter to go from the 1300 down to this IC2 connector. I think it'll fit. That'd be nice. It'd give us a little bit longer flight times, but just keep an eye on your flight times. You don't want to overheat motors and things like that because on helis, the duty cycle for the motors is a lot longer. So a couple things to keep in mind. Really happy with this thing. This is just really, I mean, it's better than expected. And we do a lot of reviews. Sometimes we get these helis and we think, it's going to be okay. This one, I had high expectations and it lived up to the expectations. That's not common. Usually when I get a heli that I have high expectations, I get let down, meaning I crash it. So without further ado, we got some night blades we're going to try on here. After the sun goes down a little bit further, it should darken up. We're not going to go pitch dark, but we're curious to see how it looks. I think it's going to be cool. And we'll try to get you a clip. I don't know how the exposure is going to be, but I think it's going to be worth trying. So stay tuned. We'll put that in this video. And by the way, this is probably going to be the first video for you, the first part of the video. We are going to show the Unbox build and radio setup, which doesn't really exist. It's mostly like sticking batteries in here and talking about how to set up the charger. But at the end of that flight, you can see Megan fly. So we'll go ahead and throw that in there. It's a very short clip. I'm not trying to clickbait you here.
No.
But you will fly for a very short time. And then we'll go ahead and throw the evening flight, the night flight in there too, just for your viewing pleasure. Guys, if you haven't already, give us a like, please. Look in the description below. If you're gonna buy this thing for yourself, buy it from our links. You'll help support us. It's super easy. You don't pay any extra, but we get a small commission from the manufacturers, distributors, and shops that we work with. But then also, if you don't like doing that and you wanna just buy it from the local hobby shop, but you'd like to throw us a bone here and there, we got a Patreon site. We have been super blessed to get lots of new patrons lately, and we're really excited about that. It's the next step forward for us in this channel. I mean, we have a few hundred to go before it's really going to make the difference we need, but every little bit counts, guys. This is a volume thing when you do YouTube. So just remember that. Don't be discouraged if you're doing your own YouTube channel. It takes a long time for things to develop. And if it develops any faster, then sometimes it's a fluke and it only lasts for a short time. So again, don't be discouraged because sometimes things take time and staying power. So that being said, come back for more. YouTube is right up. This is gonna be new and exciting for you from us. What is this?
Those don't look like props.
It's night blades for this beauty. Look at this, it's the 230S Smart Heli by Blade. Amazing. As you know, on this channel, we occasionally do helicopters, and I would not claim to be some sort of a heli expert, but I do enjoy helis, and we just want to show you that even a non-expert can fly helis with safe. Do you see what's happening here?
Yeah.
Look at this. The stuff has been on the ground for literally 10 seconds, and there's already cats in it. Cats are hilarious. Okay, so what did we get? We got the 230, which is it's the Smart, the 230S. It's compatible with G2 Smart batteries, okay? And then it looks like we have some extra batteries and things in here that might be for unrelated projects, so we'll take care of that off camera. Oh no, it actually has to do with these. These are night blades, so you can put these LED strips in there and they make them glow, which is super cool.
Cool.
And then the battery actually sticks in here so that obviously there's no commutator ring or anything that goes on the top. So we're gonna fly it without those weird blades, and then we'll try those out as well. But for now, this is gonna be the unboxing part. You may have already seen this because I'm sure it's gonna be really cool. And you may have already seen the helicopter fly. Cats are hilarious. All right, so this is gonna be a pretty easy unboxing because helis come out mostly built. Okay, it comes with a little packet of information in here. Lipo safety, talks about the connectors also. This is really handy if you're trying to remember or figure out the names of the connectors for doing searches. This is super nice. This is one of the things I bring up once in a while, but it tells you all the different connector styles, the different names and things like this, if you want to just kind of pan slowly across there, which is super cool. So anyway, that's in there. That actually just is basically a general guide they give you, and then they offer to have you register your products. And then of course the manual that you've come to enjoy from Spectrum Horizon Hobby Products. This is Blade, of course, one of the brands. And of course we have nice foam packaging here. And this is a ready to fly, so it comes with literally everything you need, with the exception of the USB power supply into your wall outlet, okay? So it does come with a battery. Let's talk about this for 2 seconds. This is a Gen 2, 850 milliamp hour, 30C. It's a 3S pack. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna quickly walk over and show you, oh, look at this. There's an adapter in here, that's super nice. And then there is another charger right here. There's some loose parts here. This is the actual charger that's included. I think we've seen these before in the airplane lineup. Yep, we have. Oh, so like I said, you have to provide the actual AC adapter that comes out of the wall, but then this is USB-A to USB-C. Sorry, the cats were being super obnoxious, so we decided to stop it. This comes with an S120. This USB-C plugs in here. This plugs into your wall outlet or your laptop or whatever it is. And then your battery would plug in there using an adapter. This is an IC2. You need an IC3 to go into this charger. So the IC2 plugs into the IC2 here, okay? And then this plugs into the S120, like that. And then it charges that way. So let's show you how that works real quick. We can get that started. And just so you guys know, full disclosure, we have a second battery just the same, 850 milliamp Gen 2. We have the same adapter here, and it's going into a smart charger. I have it set to the balance screen to show me what's going on. It's just balancing right now. So then this, for easy figuring, I'm gonna plug it into the USB port so you can see how this works. Okay, so there's a white light that comes on, it goes to purple, flash, 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 flash. Those flash sequences will tell you about the charge performance of this charger. Okay, so we'll come back over to the helicopter and let's look at our jailbreak. There's 4 cats trying to get into the box.
I told you they were just gonna get in.
My goodness. So anyway, sorry guys. All right, so then we can get to the best part, which is, of course, the awesome helicopter. This is a collective pitch helicopter. This is an easy to fly helicopter. This is gonna be one of the biggest helicopters that we've had. It has a brushless tail rotor, 3-bladed. This is nice because if you hit the ground, you won't break that immediately. I mean, you can still tip it over, but if you tip it over so steep, you're gonna be hitting the main rotor on the ground. Very pretty. It's a lot of plastic. Big gear, that's nice. It looks like there's nice Heli cyclic H3055M Spectrum servos. And then of course a brushless motor, as you can see down there. Super easy to take this canopy hood cover off. There's 2 points here that you just pop off and then off it goes. It comes equipped with an IC2. Interestingly enough, there is no smart lead on there. I'm not sure how that works. That's strange. Looks like they have metal cases on these servos. That's crazy. And there's 3 of them. Okay, so this reminds me of a helicopter I had years ago. Now, let's show them under here. This is an AR6250 MHXA 230S flight controller. And it's hard to show because you can't probably get the angle to see that, but it's the receiver there. And then all those little servos plug into it. That is really cool. This reminds me a lot of a CP1 that I had years ago, and I never actually got it flying. I kind of made it fly, I made it hover, but I never really flew it. Because even though it had a gyro on the tail, that was it. And it was just too big of a learning curve. I could never overcome it. And so now fly forward about, I don't know, like 15 years. Well, however long we've been married, like probably about 15 years.
It was before Andrew.
Here we are now, getting ready to fly this thing. I'm actually really excited because obviously I've developed a skill to fly fixed wing aircraft, and I know a little bit about flying helicopters and quads and things like this, but the flight controllers have gotten so much better over the years. This is a nice little blade holder. Okay, so it comes with obviously the transformer, excuse me, not the transformer, the transmitter, which is a DXS. That is going to be compatible with fixed wing aircraft and helis. And you can actually store up to 4 profiles for aircraft and 4 profiles for helis or quads. So this, we've had pretty good luck with these. We had one that had an issue. It comes with 4 AA batteries. These ones are heavy duty, ooh, which is a lot nicer than what I'd be putting in. Ooh, they feel extra heavy. Extra heavy duty. They're for like 3.5 milliamp hours each. So at the end of this video, we're gonna share with you a clip. I don't know if we'll show the whole thing because it was like 8 minutes, but they crop dusted the field across the way here, and it was really cool. And so if you hear me having the sniffles, or like if I keel over during this video, you'll know why. Yeah. Because he was going straight over our house. Yeah. It was cool, and we filmed it. So you can watch that at the end. I'm sure very, very nice case, by the way.
And you could actually put it back in the case.
You can actually put the helicopter in this case. Like, we will keep this case and we will use it. Many times we basically throw away the boxes. Now it does come with spare parts too. So as you can see, these are the types of things that you may break, okay? But the idea is, being that this is a safe equipped helicopter, you may or may not actually need that as much. When I was growing up, we didn't have anywhere near the 3-axis gyros that we have now. And that stabilization and auto leveling, the safe, it's incredible. So we're gonna get right to it, guys. Radio setup is pretty easy on this. You don't even have to bind it if it's comes straight out of the box, should be ready to go. Okay, so batteries in, stick down. This is a throttle hold on a helicopter. When you turn this on, it's got a couple of lights that come up. We do have a battery charged because we have 2 of them. We aren't trying to pull any fast ones on you. Now, you can actually bind this to a programmable transmitter. In this case, we're gonna use the DXS for this, but we also have numerous other choices like a DX6, DX8, DX18. I have all those just sitting here. But in this case, we're gonna show it straight out of the box as they're ready to fly. But you could also go ahead, and if you ever upgrade to a programmable transmitter or computerized transmitter like this, you could go ahead and just bind it to that. So we'll do this first. And then these lights are described in the manual. But we're just gonna go ahead and jump over and use this other one because it just happens to be charged. The thing that's so nice about these batteries, let's just show you this. I'm gonna unplug from this one. I'm gonna jump over and plug this in. If you get one of these smart chargers, you don't have to do the dual charger. They come with the EC3 and the EC5, so you can do all the big batteries, you know, like the 7000, 6S, Gen 2, this sort of thing. All the way down to the small ones. And the thing that's so cool is, watch this. This is how hard it is to plug in. You plug it in and it starts. It's already started charging. You don't even have to set it up, but you can. So I'm gonna press and hold play. It just updated my screen. And I'm gonna scroll up to, where's the smart battery? Smart battery settings. And then I'm gonna scroll into 72 hours. This is how long it waits to start automatically discharging. I set mine really high. That's not easy on the packs. And then you can set the charge rate at 0.8, and you can change that up or down, whatever you wish. Now, this battery is recommended to charge no more than 5C, which would be 4.25 amps. Jeez, that's fast.
Crazy.
So you could actually charge that as fast as, looks like 4.2 amps, 4.25 amps. That's what they recommend, and that's what it goes to on this charger. So now this charger will go faster, but that's what it goes to because it knows what this battery is. So now we can just go ahead and go back and then go up to start and just let it do its thing. Now this one's at 40%, and you can see the balance here. There's only 3 cells, so it's going to show you all 3 simultaneously. But I'm going to go ahead and unplug it. We're going to plug it into this stock charger. I just wanted to set up that one setting. Now, if you don't have this and you want to do it another way, you can get this XBC100 Smart Checker, and that's another really easy way to do this, and it's a lot cheaper because these are like 250 bucks. This is like around 200 bucks. That's a single channel, so you can only do 1 battery at a time. But it's still got a lot of wattage. And then as you go down the line, you can get cheaper ones. But you see this? It's going to tell us we're at about 33%, and it's giving you the individual cell counts. So now we can go down to auto storage at whatever you want. So I'm going to set it to 240 hours. Okay? So those are the 2 easy ways. Now this is only about 40 bucks, and it is an amazing tool to have in your toolbox. You should have one because you can also test your servos with it. And it's super robust and really, really nice. I like it a lot. So of all the smart gear, that is just the thing you have to have. It's super handy. And if you have smart packs, even one of them, it'll make itself worthwhile. Okay, so we have the transmitter on, we have the throttle cut on, and then there's a couple of switches. There's 1, 2, 3 positions, 1, 2, 3 positions, and then 2 positions. This, of course, is going to control the direction that everything tips. This is going to control the speed that this motor runs so that it can control the yaw of the aircraft. So it's just like on a fixed wing. This points you down like that. This pulls you back. This pushes you to the left or to the right. And then this yaws, and then this is your throttle and or the pitch of your blades. So in this case, we're going to get this thing set up. Let's look at the manual for a minute. Horizon does a really nice job with manuals. This is available as a bind and fly basic, which comes without the battery. So you're going to have to do the math to figure out if it's a better value for you to get it with the battery or without. Keeping in mind that the ready to fly does come with the adapter, which is super nice. Now, if you don't have the right type of battery, you can still use other 850 milliamp 3S batteries using this adapter, okay? And that's perfectly fine. Just make sure that your C rating is sufficient. We're using a 30C in this case. We'll look at the manual and it should make some suggestions. We can figure out what we need there. Okay, so 850 milliamp 3S, 30C is what it recommends. And it looks like it's got the motor size. That's really good. It talks about the batteries that come with it. And then over here we've got, here's the different color conditions. That's what we were talking about. So the double flash means it's between 25 and 75. That's what we saw earlier. And then right here, we just kind of went over some of these settings. So this is if you're doing a bind and fly. And then this, of course, is going to give you your flight mode for safe. They call it different things: stability mode, intermediate mode, and agility mode. The throttle hold as opposed to throttle cut on a fixed wing airplane. And then this is your battery voltage level. The green lights are going to tell you what the voltage is of your battery that's on board in the helicopter. Super helpful information to have. And by the way, how that works is as the lights light up, there's 4 of them, okay? So 100% means all 4 lights are on. It'll start to flash the top light when it drops between 4 and 3. Once it drops between the flashing 4, it goes to 3. Then it goes to flashing 3. Then it goes to 2. Then it goes to flashing 2. Then it goes to 1. Then it goes to flashing 1. Then it goes to off. And at that point, you've already run out of power usually, especially in a heli application, because you have to keep the throttle on. It's not like a plane where you just glide. So be very cognizant of all that. This talks about all the different transmitter setup, okay? If you're gonna do a bind and fly, always have your throttle low. There's an LED indicator on the flight controller. The flight controller, as we mentioned earlier, is gonna be down here. Not sure how you're gonna see that from inside, but I'm assuming there's some creative mechanism. Maybe you have to kind of look from this angle. There's also a low voltage ESC on the ESC rather. And what that does is it's going to cut off the motor when you get to a certain level. And then of course this talks a little bit more about the swash plate settings. And you can see what direction they go, kind of like what I just showed you there. Okay, so that's pretty cool. The reason I go through this manual with you is because if you're like me, you're probably gonna be a little bit less experienced helicopter pilot. This would be something like a first heli. Maybe not the very first heli, but it could be a first heli with safe. It's a little bit bigger than some. And so it's gonna go through all sorts of details that maybe some of the even more advanced helicopters aren't gonna show you, okay? So definitely peruse the manual. They have calibration procedures in here. And they're different than airplanes. So you need to be aware of it because the flight controller is not the same as the flights, basically the AR637 and the AR631, which we're always using, okay? 637TA or 637T. And 631, 630. Those are basically the four that we've used. And then we have a couple that don't have AS3X and we almost never recommend them because we like AS3X. So there is still AS3X in this heli, but it's just applied to a different platform. So it still kind of works the same way in terms of counteracting environmental impact, but then the auto leveling is also part of that feature. And of course you can totally shut that off too, and that would be called agility mode. So if you're looking for, you know, like out of safe, out of stabilization, that's what this page talks about. It shows this would be stability mode, then intermediate mode, then this is agility mode. So agility mode is all the way towards you, and then that's the full safe. That'd be like AS3X only, maybe some limited bank angles, and then this is, of course, just like fly, you know, regular fly, no help. I don't know if agility mode has AS3X involved in it or not, so I'm not gonna say that for sure. So without further ado, let's see how this goes. Now with the helicopter, you have to be extra careful because it's got a bigger blade and it's a little bit easier to cut you than say on a prop plane because you can usually get your hands out of the way. So what I've always done, and I've been doing this for a long time, by the way, that's your bind plug right there. If you need the bind plug, it's right there. Now we shouldn't need to bind because this is a ready to fly. So the first thing you want to do is get your battery in. So I'm going to try to slide it in without actually undoing the Velcro because I'm lazy. And then I'm going to bring the lead back through in such a way. This is really thick strap. That's nice. One of the things I remember about my CP1, which I believe it was a blade, was that it was a real pain in the neck to get the battery in and out. And then I also have that Apache in there. If you just kind of give them a quick scan in there next to the YouTube thingy. Do you guys see that next to the silver play button? That is the Apache by Blade. And it is a super cool helicopter. And I'm sure lots of you would have liked to have it. And I got one, I'm talking right before they discontinued it. I used to have a running joke that I would review the planes right before they got discontinued. And we did like 4 or 5 of them that way. It's really frustrating. Okay, so I have the heli charged up here. Now, I'm not sure how the center of gravity technically works on a helicopter.
I was just gonna ask that, but I thought it was a stupid question.
Well, no, it's not a stupid question. I don't think it's as critical, but it is critical. And I'm looking at where they're talking about putting the battery in, and they don't really talk about it. So I guess we're probably okay. Yeah, because they talk about using a level when you calibrate. See this? The blade holder goes under the tail. Oh, that's just for shimming it. to make sure that you're perfectly level. Okay.
Back.
So honestly, I think it's gonna end up being a preference issue and you're gonna have some trimming if you get it in the wrong spot, but I think we're okay. So what I always did when I was hooking up my helicopters as a kid, and I would have been basically a kid, but a married kid with a house. Yeah, we were young. I would always try to hold it in such a way that it would be able to set its home position. Now this was back in the days when the stabilizers didn't have anything going on. This flight controller is going to need a few seconds to initiate its home position. So I'm going to do this in such a way that I'm safe and that everybody else in the room, including the cats, are safe, and the airplanes especially are safe.
Mostly the airplanes.
But I want to get my arm low, okay? This shouldn't start, but you know, things go wrong. Okay, so it's plugged in. Lots of singing. I see a green flashing light. I see an orange. I heard the ESC initiate. And I hear servos, digital servos, singing their song. Do you hear them? Mm-hmm. My goodness. Okay, now. Yep, it's moving. Do you guys see that thing moving? That is so cool. Look at it right here. Now look at the other axis. Same thing. So that's auto leveling right there.
Yeah.
Really cool. And this would normally go, but I have no throttle being initiated. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this cover on and we'll go ahead and see how scary it is when we spool it up, and we'll decide if we wanna go inside with it for a second or if we wanna go straight outside, which we have done in the past on certain aircraft that tend to scare me to death. And we have done a few in here that went perfectly fine, and we've done a few others that scared me to death. So I'm not sure where this one's gonna leave us, but I'm quite excited to see it. All right, so I'm getting the books off the table. I wanna go ahead and do a couple of quick tests. First of all, we can see we've got good feedback here for the battery voltage. That's helpful. Okay, you can see it moves. You see it moves, and it slowly responds. Okay, now go up to this setting. See how it takes time to come back? That's weird. Okay, and then this must be high rates and low rates. Can't tell. Okay, so at this point, it's time to go ahead and not be scared. There's gonna be an idle up mode, and then there's gonna be a regular mode where it just spins up. So I'm gonna just hope I'm in the right mode. Okay, I'm in the right mode, so it didn't start spinning up. Okay, so here goes nothing. Okay, so you see what happened there? It started waggling around. Let's show the people what happened. Throttle cuts on and tested. These are a little bit tight still. Sometimes what happens is when they get tight, they will lock up and then they'll be in like a position like that instead of being pulled out to the side. So that's why you don't usually screw around, you just get up to throttle. So why don't we just test this outside so we don't end up crashing into our face on video.
It's probably a good idea.
Yeah, that'll be the safer bet. It's gonna be super easy to take this thing off and just kind of see how things go. I don't think the wind is gonna be a big factor, but we're gonna find out, so stay tuned. Okay, so we're outside now. We're gonna try this. We don't wanna get hemmed in too bad. Let it speed up. About 50% on the sticks. There we go. Okay, and we're up. Boy, that is pretty solid. It's not scary at all, and it's right there. Oh yeah, good yaw authority. Really quick response. Okay, so let's just see if we can get it to do anything. I love that the blades are orange. I can actually see them pretty well. The black blades always seem to disappear for me. It's very touchy on the controls. The safe is very, very, very locked in. It's not giving me a lot of leeway, which is the way it should be. Hey, I'm gonna switch you sides, please.
Okay.
Let's go out by the bowl, actually, because I think that looks so sweet, actually. The backdrop might be better. That is so cool. Okay, go up to the corner there, by the garbage can corner. Thank you. Perfect, right there. We're getting a little bit of turbulent wind down here, but it's very little. That's full throttle. Okay, so guys, you know that I'm an intermediate at best heli pilot. I mean, probably almost like beginner pilot, okay? So we're flying this on the provided 850 milliamp 3S with an IC2. It's a smart battery, so as we're flying, you can see we're down to 1. We've got one of the dots out of the equation now. Man, this is so easy to fly, camera crew. Like, you could probably do it. No,
hilarious.
I'm serious. Like, it's so easy. Okay, I do need to trim a little bit, though. I'm pretty sure I can trim and safe. Yeah, see? It's hands off. I mean, it's going away from me just a couple of clicks worth. Probably a little bit of wind.
Mm-hmm.
Let's give it 1 click here and 1 click there. Yes, that is awesome. Okay, here we go. The recovery to level is just second to none. Look at this, guys. I mean, total confidence in that thing. And we do have wind, by the way. Let's go fly by the windsock. Do you guys see the windsock over here? I'm trying to keep it so it's in picture. We can still smell the chemicals from across the street. And if you guys were wondering where the crop dusting was going on, it was, the crop duster was like right here.
Yep.
Like here. No exaggeration. You'll see it in a second. Woo-hoo-hoo!
What was that?
That was safe. I got into a nasty spot where it decided it wasn't going to keep up, but that's okay. All is well. Okay. Now I'm going to try intermediate mode here for a second. Let's look at this. Okay, we got flashing light on the second. That means we're between 25 and 50%. So let's go into intermediate. Okay, so, whoa, that lets me flip it over, does it? Let's come over here where I can see a little better. As with most helis, I am not skilled enough to be able to flip upside down for a long time, but I'm gonna try it. Okay, here we go. Oh, that is so cool. That is so cool. I could actually do it, and that was super easy. There's manned aircraft up there, but they're way up there. They're probably 5,000 feet. That is so cool. Did you see that?
Yeah, I'm here. I saw it.
You want to know how long it took me to do that in the A10? Or, I mean, not the A10, in the Apache? Okay, here we go.
Mm-hmm.
That is awesome. I am not that good of a pilot. What the heck is going on here? Ooh, it's flying so much better now. Safe is too restrictive for my loose flying style.
Nice.
Okay, there's some safe action, also known as I didn't want to crash. Man, the sun is so cool. I love the way it looks. Okay, so we're getting down to the last light, but we're not to the flashing. Oop, just started flashing. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and, camera crew, you wanna go on the inside for me, please? Thank you. Back toward the garage doors if you can. Thank you. I'm gonna try to taxi it over the runway here. Just keep it at low altitude. Guys, I'm not an expert pilot, and this thing is really pretty easy to fly. Look at this. I'm tempted to Enrique the thing.
No.
You won't let me Enrique it?
No.
Why?
I
won't Enrique it, I promise. All right, so throttle holds on. I'm scaring the camera crew.
Super cool though. I mean, not the catching it part, but the rest of it.
So here's the thing, guys. I'm not an experienced pilot, okay, when it comes to helis. And I know some of you guys are like, whatever, you've flown a million helicopters. Well, yeah, like once. This thing flew really good. I was super confident with it. I didn't have any problems. Obviously, you know, I'm a Horizon Hobby fanboy, so I just love most of the stuff they put out. But I can say this, there's been a few things that they put out that I didn't like as much as the Chinese knockoffs. And like you guys know, we've reviewed a lot of the XK stuff and the Ishin stuff, and we've had good luck with them. But I was way more scared flying those, like the 160 and the 180 in particular. I mean, I was like scared flying those because those things are crazy insane. This just felt way more my level, if that makes sense. Now, I'm not saying that that's a good thing for everybody watching this video, but it's a good thing for me because I fly fixed wing predominantly. And when I fly helicopters, it's a stretch for my skill set. But I don't know if you noticed that I was doing flips with it. When you flip a helicopter upside down, it takes a lot of skill to do that. And I didn't really have any extra skill. The flight controller was helping me along. So when you flip it upside down like that, I don't know if it's switching the blade, the pitch of the blades or not. But I felt like it was super, super easy. I got to try another flip. Let's try another flip. I want to just see, because we got the second lights flashing.
Okay.
So we're going to go a little bit longer. This is sort of out of order for us. It's not customary for us to start like this, but we're going to do it anyway. Okay, throttle cuts off. Keep the tail towards you if you're new. Go past the 50% power and just get that reverberation out of there. Then get off the ground. And I'm going to go up here where I've got a little bit of room and I'm above the tall grass just in case I crash. Are you good for zoomage and stuff?
Yeah.
Okay, so going into the crazy mode. That is awesome, guys. I'm just loving the fact that I can do that. I've been wanting to do that for years. Let's try a barrel roll. Oh, that is just nuts. I totally put it back on safe there, folks. Just in case you're wondering. Not trying to hide anything. I know my skills and where the limits are, and I reach those limits. That is awesome. Now, if I want to get a little bit more control, I can still do that. It looks like it's going into collective pitch mode, and it's also giving me less help. Okay, but let's see if we can land it that way. I know there's some of you that are cringing like, Brian, it's not that hard. Come on, you've got this. And you might be right. You might be right. I probably do have it to a certain extent. Okay, so throttle cuts on. In that middle setting, it goes to an idle up setting. Okay, I'm gonna put that back to the beginner mode. In idle up, the motor spins at full speed, and then the pitch changes whether you want, pushing down or you want pulling up. Or pushing down or pushing up. It's, so you can actually fly it upside down if you're a skilled enough pilot, which I am not. Very good battery life, by the way. I'm surprised. That was a pretty good amount of flight for an 850 milliamp 3S pack. I want to try the other pack. I'm not sure where our charge is. So what we're going to do is we're going to run inside real quick. We'll grab the battery and we're going to try it. We didn't do like any radio setup at all. That was nothing.
No, none. Literally.
That had to be like the easiest setup ever. I mean, we literally took it out of the box, talked about chargers for a few minutes, and then did this.
We're only 34 minutes on the whole video.
Oh my goodness.
People, what are we going to talk about for like 4 more hours?
I don't know. I think what we'll do is we'll stop the video now. You guys can see this. That's the real deal, literal Virgin Maiden. Except, you know what we need to do? Camera crew is going to fly. Yeah, it's that easy. I'm serious. It's that easy. And you're going to do it with low voltage. Okay?
Great. That's
you good?
Smart.
Here, hold that. So the camera crew's going.
I do not like helicopters.
She hates it when I do this to her.
You do. I also do.
Okay, so, all right. This is how this works. You don't have to fly much.
We're not done with this video. I can't crash it now. We're not done.
Well, I mean, if you crash, it'll make for a good video. So here's how this works.
Okay.
This is throttle cut. You're already in the beginnerist mode.
Okay.
Just don't change this.
More beginner mode?
Or especially not that. I didn't even do that. Okay, that's like where it blows up in a million pieces.
Okay.
Okay, so like the eject button right there. I think this is also a panic button. It's already doing everything. Okay, so now listen. You're pointed into the wind, which is out here. Okay, that's where it's coming toward us. So you see how the helicopter's pointed toward us? So let's get our body behind it.
Okay.
It'll make it easier. You don't have to do anything fancy.
Well, that's good because I'm not going to.
Yeah, you're just going to take off, go a couple feet high, and then like slowly lower it back down.
Okay, but do I have to do anything to go up besides throttle up? Or what is it going to go on its own?
You just push this up. And you have to, okay, so you have to get about past half stick. So once you're about half stick, then it's going to take off. Okay? So just throttle cut, off.
Okay.
And then just, we're going to try, remember, this isn't going to be a long flight. You're just going to take off, go forward 10 feet and then put it back down. And if you crash it, it's not the end of the world.
Says
She's going. She's going. Look at this. She's so scared. She's scared. She's doing it. Oh my goodness. You're flying. Woo!
Wait, okay.
Now remember, when you push this stick forward, it's going to lean the helicopter forward and it's going to walk away from you.
Okay.
Okay, so try again. You're
doing
just fine.
Can I go or do I have to wait till it stops?
No, you can go. We don't have unlimited battery or sunlight. You're doing fine. Okay, push it away from us. Okay, now lower it down. Goodness gracious, I suck at camera work.
Oh, geez.
Hey, you didn't crash it.
Okay.
You technically flew the helicopter.
flew
It's amazing. Okay, all right. I'm gonna stop embarrassing the camera crew. She doesn't want to, but I'm too lazy to go pick that up, so I'm gonna fly it back to us. Oh, I think it's caught on grass. Let me go check it.
Oh, okay. I'll pause in a second.
That's fine, but I'm gonna just lay it right here.
Okay.
I might be out of zone for the mic.
Nope,
okay,
you're good.
so
you're almost there. So I'll
are
just
you
keep
back?
filming. I'm still filming.
Okay.
I never went away.
Okay, here we go. I'm just walking the helicopter back. Ooh, you know what we need to do, camera crew, for our next flight?
What?
We need to take the helicopter on a walk. We haven't done that for a while.
Okay, so
Throttle cuts on.
I feel like
Throttle hold.
you're keeping your throttle really high the whole time.
You have to keep it up here because what happens is the speed of the propeller helps to create a gyroscopic effect.
Is that what I was
physical gyroscopic effect.
doing wrong?
You weren't really doing anything wrong. You're just scared of crashing a helicopter, which
Yeah.
is fine. I mean, it's okay to be scared of crashing, but you don't want to not fly because of it. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to switch out batteries. We'll put the first flight at the beginning of the video for excitement reasons. And then you guys can check the link in the video description below and buy one for yourself if you really like it. If you're an intermediate to very beginner helicopter pilot, this thing is for you. You do need a little bit of room. I probably wouldn't fly that in the living room because it's just a little bit big. You'll probably break stuff if you hit something. But what we are going to do is when we're done flying, as you can see, the sun's going down. So we'll go ahead and show you in the next clip, we'll show you next putting the night lights, the night blades on, and we'll show you how to set them up. They're super easy. You basically charge a 1S pack, you stick it up on this blade, and you take out one screw and you put the screw back in with the new blade. It's super duper easy. If you can't figure that out, you're probably not flying helicopters. That being said, if you plan on crashing this beautiful thing, you may actually break a prop at some point. And let's talk about props for a minute. Or not props, blades. Throttle cuts on, by the way. This is plastic, okay? So, oh, we creamed a bug. That's awesome. Look at that.
Hold on, I can't.
The bug. So we killed a bug.
Oh, I'm sorry, bug.
Man, P is gonna be all over us now. So what I'm trying to say is these are plastic, they're very resilient, but they are not impervious to damaging other things. So, like I said, when I had my CP1, they had a balsa wood blade with a plastic, almost like a monocoat covering. And the first thing I crashed into was my cabinet in the kitchen. And I damaged it a little teeny bit. I mean, it was like nothing. It was an oak cabinet, so it barely hit it. But it did damage it. So you need to be aware that when you get into this size class, you can damage stuff with them, including yourself, kids, dogs, pets, other manned aircraft. So you have to respect manned aircraft. This is also over the 250 grams, I believe. We'll check that. And so you need to do the know before you fly stuff. So just be aware of those things. I love it. It's awesome. I'm less scared to fly this than the other ones we have. So I feel like I'm more likely to fly it and more likely to go into those intermediate modes and more likely to do those things. If it was dead calm right now, I think it would help a little bit. Do you see those bugs right there? Can you see those on camera? I really want to fly through them. You can't see them on camera, can you?
No.
Oh man, I wish we could. Because, well, anyway, there's a bunch of little gnats in the air and I wanted to go fly through them because I don't like them. So speaking of killing things. So if you guys are wanting to buy this thing with smart technology, it's got all the bells and whistles that you could want on a smart starter helicopter. Very impressed with it. I would say, unless you're flying in a big indoor environment, it's probably not great for an indoor environment. I also noticed that safe can get a little bit overcorrecty on the tail. I'm okay with that actually because I need the help. So what you saw up there when it did the spinaroo, I was going in a position on the throttle at that time where I was dropping down. So what happens when you're in the non-idle up mode, you're actually reducing the motor speed to a point where it thinks you're landing. So the flight controller gets a little bit freaked out. You can replicate that symptom. I've done it before. I'll be able to do it again if we wanted to, but that might be kind of a point of vulnerability on this helicopter with the flight controller the way it is. So you get a weird gust of wind and you're going down on the throttle stick, then when you get to about the 50% point down to nothing, the flight controller at some points predicts a trajectory of landing, okay? Now, I don't know if the stick was all the way down for a second or not, but I was trying to lower my altitude. It may have just been a fluke too. I don't know, but I tend to think that's what happened. I've seen it before on other planes, or not planes so much, but VTOLs, helicopters, quads, things like that. So really happy with it. The DXS has been really good to us so far. We did have one issue on one gimbal out of, I don't know, like 8 of them that we've had. So we've had a lot of them. We called it a fluke. I think the video is already released on that one. I can't remember. But either way, it doesn't matter. It's all taken care of now. We fixed it. So super happy with this. This 230S Smart Heli is great. That'd be a great entry-level choice if you're looking to get into helis. And this is collective pitch. Yes, you can fly it upside down. And yes, it does all the stuff you want to do and more. Very cool. Stay tuned, guys. We're going to show you the night blades at the beginning or end of the video, but one way or another. If you haven't already, check the links in the video description below. That's how you can help support our channel. If you buy the products from the links, it's the most equitable way for you to support Brian Phillips RC, the camera crew, and our family. But also, if you just don't want to buy this heli, you don't like this heli, you want another heli or whatever, there's more stuff down below. And if you still don't want to buy any of those airplanes, but you still would like to support us, for years people have been banging us to do a Patreon. So we finally set up a Patreon, and we are just really taken back by the level of support. You know, we've already got like 12 people started, and it's only been a couple of weeks. We're just, it's really cool. So for people to just straight up give us money, it's different than just buying a plane knowing that we're going to get a small commission from manufacturer. But at the same time, it's humbling, and it's also, we still feel like the best deal for you guys is to buy the stuff from the manufacturers. So if you want to support us, we're not trying to turn you down. We want to give you that opportunity if that's what you're into. So we really do appreciate it from the bottom of our hearts. So guys, come back for more. All right, so the camera crew reminded me when we came inside, Megan was saying, you know, I don't even know how to take this off because I was just switching the charger over to a faster charger. And then she said, I don't even know how to take this battery out because we were trying to get ready to do another flight. Well, I suppose I better show you in case you guys are new to this. You stick your finger in here and you just pull that thing off. And it's like a little grommet. And the grommet is pierced by this piece of plastic. So you do both sides, just like that, and you just walk it forward. It's really easy. And listen to that howl.
I know.
Those digital servos are crazy noisy. Okay, so the battery was super duper easy to load. I didn't really feel like we had any issues with trimming, so I'll just kind of put the next one in the same way. We do have a little bit of Velcro on our battery. And full disclosure, this was not the one that came with it. Not that it matters. We're going to put the other one in it. So I guess for now, I'll plug this one back in and you can see what the light condition looks like when it starts. Do you see it yet? Mm-hmm. What's it say?
So you only have one purple flash, so that would be like the lowest.
The lowest?
Charge level, because then it goes up to 2 and then up to 3 as it charges.
And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to immediately unplug this and plug it into a better charger. Now this one I have set to charge at the full 4.2 amps and it's already ramped down because we're at 98%. So you'll notice it's going to automatically start charger 1, 2. You can see it's at 21%. It is evidently started and it's ramping up. Now this is only going to go to 0.8, so you may see it overshoot a little bit. I might have set that to 0.9, I can't remember. But anyway, guys, these smart chargers, they are huge, huge, so easy. The best, easiest thing you're ever going to get. So you should highly consider getting one.
Yep.
They're not cheap, and that sucks when you're new in the hobby because everything is, it seems like it's all just bombarding you. Like, I need a new charger, I need a new transmitter, I need a new this. It gets better, okay? After you get 4 or 5 different planes, you got a lot of that basic stuff out of the way, then you just start buying new planes when you want them. So new planes are helis.
If we would have had chargers that were this easy when you started flying, I wouldn't be nearly as intimidated with batteries, I don't think.
Yeah.
Because it's just a lot at the beginning, but those are so easy.
So while we're in here, between steps,
Okay.
we're gonna get these chargers started, okay? These are 45C 1S 150 milliamp hour packs. This is the battery charger we're going to recommend. We'll link to all these. This is the Spectrum SPMXC 1040, I guess. Whatever that is.
Micro Lipo Charger.
And then there's a little bit of this on there. And all you have to do is just stick it in the right hole. And then what you do is you click, and then you can scroll in what speed you want. So 1.5. Then press and hold, and then it starts to charge. My transmitter is singing the song of death, which is a song to let you know that it's inactive. Okay, we're gonna open the second one. Okay, slide that out. Comes a little piece of heat shrink, mostly for airplane applications. And it's got that little plug. Press, scroll in 1.5 amp. It's actually 0.15 amp hours, which would be 150 milliamp hours. And then if you were using another brand of 3S, preferably one that actually has a JST plug, like this Onyx 3S would be a great example. This has a 30C rating, but it's got a JST end. So here's the JST end adapter that goes to the IC2. So if you want that, we'll link to this as well. So all the different products we're showing you in this video, we'll link to. And then of course, the night blades. That's why we're showing you this charger and we're showing you these blades. Yeah, you would need to have a 1S charger to use these things, but you wouldn't necessarily have to use these things either. It's just a cool thing that's fun to use. And this is where you plug in your power, and then this holds the battery. And this replaces one of your blades. Then these are the other LEDs that plug in to the rest of your helicopter. And then they get put in different positions, and then they plug in. Where do they plug in is my only question. Oh, they go into this maybe? Yeah, I'm not sure how that works. Oh, they just go in series. So you plug in one here, and then that one plugs into the last, and so on and so forth, until they're all plugged in, okay? So there's some instructions surely somewhere that we can look at. For now, we're gonna go out and fly some more. Guys, if you're interested in seeing this, it's somewhere in the video. Oh, by the way, if you knock a battery out, like I just did, it'll come up with a 33. The 33 means there was a sudden change. Okay, so what you do is you just start it again, and then it just picks up where it left off. Okay, so we'll be right back, guys. Just wanted to show you those couple of technical details in case it's helpful to you as a new pilot. All right, guys, so we're back with the Horizon Hobby, the Blade 230S, and we got this night light kit, okay, that lights up the blades, which is gonna be super cool, but it also came with lights for the fuse. And so I think what we need to do is, obviously we've got our batteries here charging, looks like they're about ready. So that's gonna be really easy. We basically mount those on there and we're done. And then that'll give you the biggest effect. But it also comes with these lights. They come in a bag. Of course, I cut the bag off camera. And they stick together so that you only have to hook up one battery to them. But this was designed for a different type of heli. So there's double-sided tape here, and I'm just trying to kind of be careful how I do this. It looks like one of them is going to ultimately be the end. Okay, so it's only got the little chunk of LEDs here. And then at the other end, whoops, looks like I had that backward maybe. Yep, I had that backward. Then on the other end, you've got an insert to receive the split off from the JST plug, okay? So the JST plug is gonna feed this side, and these are just white lights, I believe. We're gonna hook it up and just show you what it looks like. It's gonna be super bright, really cool. This one goes to the tail rotor, and one side is red and one side is green, but I can't tell what's what, okay? So it goes back here. It looks like you should technically be able to energize that at any point. But honestly, I don't know what size battery we need. I'm assuming we need one of these. So let's try it. That doesn't work. This isn't gonna work either, is it? Wrong size, because this is an even smaller micro connector.
Oh.
So you need a JST and battery to be able to accomplish this. And the trouble is this Heli doesn't have a JST plug on it. It's got the IC2. Now, everybody knows that watches this channel that we could come up with a creative way to get power. Not the least of which is I'm gonna try to pull power from this bind plug. I believe the bind plug carries power. I think it does. So we should be able to steal some power there. I don't know if the JST is gonna slide in there or not. Let's try. I think it should. Will it go? It's not gonna go. Okay, so bear with us for a minute. We'll come right back. Okay, so a couple thoughts. This helicopter has tons of room up front. So my initial thought is just do it the easy way. This is a 1S pack. I don't know if the voltage is gonna be enough. You might need a 2S to run them, but I'm not sure. Yeah, looks like it's good. I'm assuming that these LEDs, based on the brightness, it looks like you might be able to run 2S to them, but I don't want to tell you wrong. The instructions that came with it were this long.
Yep.
None. So I guess we'll have to figure it out ourselves. Now, technically this is supposed to light up the fuse, but I don't know exactly where I want it lit up. I know where they recommended, but I'm just trying to figure out. The reason I plugged all this together was so that I could verify where things need to go. And the reason I got a bind plug out was because, just so you know, the bind plug here, of course, is typically designed to short signal to ground, okay? So if you wanted to steal voltage similar to this, but it'd actually be more like 5 volts, I believe, then you could just take apart this bind plug, pull this pin out using an X-Acto knife. You can lift this little tab up. In fact, let's just get an X-Acto knife and do it. Now you'll want to be careful. This is not going to be a bind plug anymore. It's going to be a short circuit as it's configured. So just to avoid the problems that might come with it, I'm going to clip this lead and I'm going to take that off. And then I've got a potentially positive and potentially negative here. So this is keyed, so it should only go in one direction versus the other. So I'm just gonna kind of slide that into the socket. Yep, that's the right way. So it looks like we're gonna need to move this one, the shorter one, down to become the positive lead. Okay, so the positive lead is toward my belly now. And you could take your X-Acto knife and you can get in there like this and lift that tab up just a little bit and then slide that out like that. Keep it laid down on the table or whatever if you want. You can slide that back in until it snaps and you're done. Now, when we plug this little thing in here, we'll be getting voltage out of these 2 wires. So I show you this. If you didn't already know it, you'll know it now. And we're going to use a little multimeter just so we can demonstrate that there's going to be voltage coming out. Looks like the second battery is done, so we can go ahead and pull that out, energize the helicopter, and then show the voltage here in a second. Don't stab yourself. I've only done that a few times on camera. Okay, so we can actually take this out now that we know we've got our wires wired up right. And we'll just trim that little part at the end. And we've got our exposed copper portion. Twist it. And then you could build your JST end on here, or you could just cut off these here and do the same thing. You may also be able to pull those pins. Yep, those are male, so that's not going to work. Thank you. Okay, so we're going to put our multimeter into the 20 volt settings, the world's crappiest multimeter. And nothing special at all about it. I'm going to plug this in. Polarity is sensitive here. If you go the wrong way, You won't necessarily damage anything, but you need to be aware this is no longer a bind plug because it's going from positive and negative. Okay, so now we're gonna go ahead and get our transmitter turned on, throttle cuts on, stick is down. We'll plug in the battery here in a sort of strange configuration, let everything initiate. Being careful, hopefully nothing goes horribly wrong. Now we can go ahead and touch the negative and the positive, and if you look over on the multimeter, we have 6.7 volts. Okay, so that gives us our voltage if we need it. Now that being said, I don't see anything to control these LEDs actively beyond what's installed on this circuit. So there is a current limiting resistor in series on each of these LEDs. So we should be okay, but I'm not 100% certain. So before we waste a bunch of time, why don't we just get a 2S pack? It's gonna simulate our voltage. Here's a 2S, 7.4 volts. Let's see what our voltage is. If it's similar, then we can just go with it. So it's probably gonna fry them. Yeah. Oh, that's okay. Didn't burn them out, so we should be okay. And you'll notice that the brightness is, interestingly, about the same. So that means on 7.4 volts versus 3.6 volts, the LEDs don't care. So that means if we're at 5 volts, we should also be okay based on that logic. So the easiest way to get this thing up and running, since we're using an IC2 connection rather than a JST connection, would be to do that. Or you can get this smart adapter like this. And then you can run your helicopter on. The reason I show the two different ways is because I know some of you guys are gonna be like, whoa, Brian, I just got this awesome battery from Horizon. I'm sure you did. This is another way you can do it. So this will allow you to plug in your battery, okay? This is gonna go like that, okay? Then you can use your JST in here, and I can actually adapter this thing up even more, so you can use your 3S Onyx 800 milliamp, for example. You could come into this, get that to energize, steal your power to light up the lights. JSTs can be such a pain. And then I'm gonna pull out my little adapter here because we won't be using that. And then you can energize the Heli. So as you can see, one battery does the trick. So I've showed you 3 different ways to get these lights energized. So in the comments below, when you ask me for an elaborate explanation for you directly alone only, and you alone, since it would be inconvenient for you to watch the video that we went through the trouble of putting together for you, I'm gonna tell you to watch the video. I'm not bitter.
Sure.
Anyway, answer about 10,000 questions in 2 weeks and you'll understand how I feel. But anyway, so the good news is there's a method that will give you all the different things you want. Now, you can also use one more adapter, and one more adapter looks like this. And then you can basically go, I believe you should be able to go like this, and you can use your, oh no, I won't be able to. Wrong type. Wrong end. I thought I had it, but I didn't. Sorry, guys. So anyway, the moral of the story here is that when you get the light kit, if you intend to use the light kit on the rest of the body, you might want to just kind of think twice about that a little bit, because there is going to be a little bit of effort involved, you know, whether that's using a second pack. I think for today, I don't know if I like using the adapters as much as I like just basically having a 1S pack in there. I almost feel like the 1S pack would be easier.
Where are you gonna put it?
I don't know. Up there somewhere. I'll probably put the flight pack in, something like this, and then I'll just strap this in too, right next to it, like that. And then I'll be done with it.
Okay.
I think that's still ultimately a better option than the alternatives. Now, I'm not saying those alternatives aren't good options, but I don't feel like this is gonna be an everyday thing. I'm probably gonna do this for the video, and then this will be basically a daytime flyer. I don't do a lot of night flying, much less with my helis. Now, I do have one without Velcro, so I'll probably get the one without Velcro just so that it's a little bit less bulk and less weight. Then, of course, we won't need this because we'll be going straight into it with a 1S pack. So now the next thing we have to do is figure out how we can get this back and forth and around so that we don't have lots of struggles in the future. So there's supposed to be one of these on each side. I want to keep them away from the servos. And they're supposed to go a little something like this, and then a little something like, that was it like that? I think that's kind of the way they did it.
Yeah.
And that should be manageable. So let's do that real quick. So it's peel and stick.
I'm gonna kind of come over your shoulder here a little more, if that's okay.
Yeah, it's fine. The peel and stick is a little bit challenging to get off of there. Okay, there we go. Goodness gracious, I should have used the X-Acto knife for that. Okay, so remember, you got to be careful where your wires are, and you don't want to interfere with your Velcro because you do need to get at that every single time you put a battery in. So I'm kind of thinking it might make better sense to kind of come up around it like that. And then I'm just gonna very carefully just plop that down there. Now you could add to this LED array by soldering onto these 2 points right here and here, which would be pretty cool. And let's see if this works better. Goodness gracious, this is like so challenging to get off of there. I wonder if it would have been smarter to just peel and stick them first, but then I wouldn't have known where the wires need to go. Because I didn't even at the time recognize that there was an end. I think I'm just gonna be kind of careful and just kind of put this right kind of there. Okay. You remember how we had these high hopes of this being a short video?
That was just you.
Oh. All right, then we'll slop this on here. So if you guys are wondering why we're reviewing a heli, we occasionally do some things that are a little bit outside of our comfort zone. And helis are cool. Obviously, we do a lot more fixed wing on this channel, but we really have a strong appreciation for helis, and we like to know what's going on in similar fields. And then we also do some consumer electronics once in a while. That's a little bit more rare. And then, of course, farm stuff, because that's really obviously our audience favorite subject matter, and we do not get slammed with thumbs down every time we do it at all, which just drives me nuts. It's like, just don't watch that video, for God's sake. Okay, so here we are. See that? So now I'm pressing that just to ensure that we have a good tight fit on the plastic, and I'm just kind of making sure those leads track where they need to be tracked. That way there's not tons of pressure on the connection point. So now we got to get this lead back here, and I need to pay special attention to what color's what, because it's supposed to be red is right returning. Okay, so we're going to grab this 1S plug and throw it in here. Okay, so red is right returning. So we're gonna need that to be at the top. Red is right returning, meaning that it needs to go like this, correct? Okay, so the lead needs to chase down and then go that way. Are you confident with that? Can we unplug this now?
Yes.
Okay.
Agreed.
All right, so I'm just gonna get this peeled back. So the camera crew flew this thing, and she did pretty good. It's an easy flying helicopter. It's one of the easier ones that you can even get. And the safe works super nice. There's been a couple of Horizon non-airplanes that have safe, and I've not been, you know, like impressed as I am with most of the Horizon product lineup.
I could probably do it better if somebody didn't put me on the spot.
Yeah, because if I warned you about it, you would say yes, for sure. Correct? Okay, so you see this? I want this to actually be on the flat. I don't want it to be ugly when I'm not using them. Mm-hmm. And I'm confident that we can make it so it's not super, super ugly, but it's going to be a little bit ugly. Okay, so I'm just going to make this into a prop stand here. Kind of hold this helicopter up. We do this long format for you guys so that you don't have to wonder how to do stuff. And it gets us in trouble all the time. We have people that are constantly making our lives difficult because of it. And we know a lot of you really like it, but I'll tell you what, it's after today, it's just looking more and more like at some point we're gonna have to get rid of it because I just can't handle the comments from people. See that? Look at that. It's not near as ugly as I thought it might be, but that is a vulnerable spot right there. Gosh, should I have gone, I should have, you know what I need to do bad? I need to go through there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because you're gonna put that down on the ground a lot. If it doesn't come off, it's just the way it is, but it's coming off. So I'm gonna go ahead and just very carefully peel it off. Sorry folks, I didn't think of that. I'm just thinking of it now. Better late than never, I suppose. Maybe it's better on time though. Better on time than late. Better late than never. You see why I did that, folks?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, it's just so that you don't slam that wire into the ground and cut it. Okay, good. All right, so then that'll glow. Red is right returning. Now this could be unplugged, and I probably will right now. You can actually plug in either side, so maybe we'll plug in the green side because it'll be closer to the plug point. Oh. So then they use some zip ties. I think Horizon did in their demonstration. And that's probably fine actually, but I think what I'm gonna do instead is I'm just gonna kind of chase this up here in a somewhat simpler fashion. I'm gonna see if I have enough length to give it a couple of loops around here also. I don't think I'm gonna have enough to go as many times as I would like to do it. But then this, I really, really don't want that to end up in the rotor or in this thing. That would be terrible. It'd be like the absolute opposite of what we want to happen here. Mm-hmm. All right, so once you get that wrapped around a few more times, then I'm gonna plug it in, and then we can just, you could actually tape it on there and save a little bit of weight from zip ties. Let's see, I'm sorry if I'm blocking you there, camera crew. I gotta get my head down here so I can see you a little better. Okay, so I think I've got the polarity correct. These little 1S super micro, whatever pH they are some of the hardest to get alignment because you can sort of force them in the wrong way if you try hard enough because they're just not very big. Okay, I think that's okay. I think that's gonna hold. And then we gotta keep it out of this thing too. So ultimately, there's already a bundle here. And I think I'm gonna just go ahead and try to kind of chase this wire up into the, whoops, dang it, up into the bundle if I can do it. I'm really struggling to get it up into that bundle though. There we go. See how I pulled it behind the bundle? I'm not sure if I trust that or not, but I got it pretty tight. So now there's just no slack to go anywhere. So we'll see how that looks. And I don't know, maybe you guys don't think that looks good enough. I'm not sure. You could also cover it with black tape and you wouldn't even see it at all. But then you would add quite a bit of weight to the tail of this. Also, how long is our lead? I want to grab the 1S battery. Here's one that doesn't have Velcro, so we'll use that.
Okay.
Okay, so also we need to do the blades. So let's get that done. These blades are pretty simple. The battery's actually on the blade itself. And as they spin, they'll get sucked out. So you don't have to worry about them coming out. Okay, that's pretty sweet. Okay, so it's red on the bottom, green on the top. That's gonna be really, really cool. And we're gonna unplug them for the moment. This one's also full. I think we actually had this one at like probably 99%, so I think we're okay. These are 45C batteries, but you wouldn't need anything that high. That just happens to be what we're using today. It's just a 1S Lipo. Okay, so there's that. It's kind of the same thing. So now that we know that everything works, we can go ahead and get the blade swapped out. So I think I'm going to try 2mm first. Nope, must be 1.5. Here's 1.5 millimeter. Oh, yep, that worked. Feels a little sloppy though. Wonder if it's actually smaller than that. There's a nylock that I just pulled out. Don't drop that thing. I'm gonna lay it right there. Drop the screw right there. Leave one blade in so you've got a good reference point. I am gonna go ahead and plug this in, believe it or not, because we're gonna be done in just like mere moments. So might as well. LEDs don't take much power. They do take some, but it's pretty limited. Okay, it's just a drop and replace sort of thing. I'm sorry I'm blocking you a little bit. Make sure the nylon goes down on the nylock. And then once you get to the point where it can be recessed into the retainer, then that holds it for you. And then go till it's tight and it won't move, and then back it off just a hair until it does. Okay. You want that to be able to fling out, and that will help the performance of the plane or helicopter. I always say plane when I'm talking about helis because that's what we do. Now, the reason you have to have two is because you need to balance it, obviously. So if you just did one, then it would take care of the lighting effect just fine, but of course you're not gonna have the weight balanced. And if you're trying to get away with doing just one, okay, here's what you can do. You put less weight and you put it outboard. It will make a bigger impact than a heavier battery that's inboard. So as you can see, that wasn't a super hard process, but if you don't like the way that this looks during the day, it may not be for you. But I'm still curious about it. I'm really excited to see this thing. It's gonna be cool. Like I said, we don't do a lot of night flying around here. We do some twilight flying, but this thing is gonna be cool. It's gonna look like a UFO. Okay, so remember, till it's tight, well, it won't move. Then back it off to where it moves the way you like. Okay, so they're both, this one's a little bit looser. I kind of prefer to have them a little bit looser like that, so they freely swing out. Okay, so now the final step, of course, is to load up the batteries. Pretty easy stuff. I'm gonna set this all the way back. I'm gonna set this probably forward with the lead going downward. Okay. And then I'm just gonna wrap the Velcro over the top of both of them. I'll pull it relatively tight and see if I can get it to squish in there nicely. I don't want that to fall out. And this is gonna be a pretty vigorous ride, so I might need a third hand on this, I'm not sure. Ooh, I got that way better that time. Oh yeah, that was quite a bit better. It'd be nice if I could get that Velcro to slip up a little bit. I feel pretty confident with that now. I like that. I think we're good. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and actually plug in the helicopter to fly. Are you prepared to fly? Mm-hmm. Obviously the transmitter is annoyed because it keeps getting neglected. All right, so first things first, we're gonna plug in the wire That is if it'll reach. It's not reaching that way, so we have to go a different direction. That's what I was hoping to avoid. Okay, so we're just going to slip it in this way, and I got to keep it away, obviously, from that gear. And what I'm going to do to keep it away from the gear is probably going to be something like a single zip tie, maybe. I'm not sure. Let's just go ahead and plug this in first and see how it does. Okay, so you can see what I'm talking about. We do need to tie a zip tie. A single zip tie should do, and I think we can do it right next to the bind plug area. Mm-hmm. Probably something like that. And there's a nice pass-through point there. So let's go ahead and steal one of the zip ties that was included with the package. This came with the helicopter, not with the light kit. So, ow. Here's one single zip tie. Let's go ahead and feed that through. Oh, if you want to try to get those to feed back to you, just give them a couple of folds like this. See how I've got that? I'll just go one more. I think we should be okay. So it's like 3 bends. And then all you have to do is just kind of feed it through first. Like this. And then if you have a pair of forceps, it makes it a lot easier. Of course, I'd have to get up and walk like 3 steps to get mine. So I'm gonna opt to not do that. I'm just gonna struggle. Just struggle until I get it. Okay. So there it is. Part of the reason I struggle to get it without is to demonstrate that you can do it without the tool. The tool just makes it a little bit easier. That's true for many different tools. You know, like the ones the dentists use. You can
struggle and do it without.
you can do most of that stuff with just pliers and a drill.
Says the person who's had lots of dental work done.
If my dentist didn't use the right tools, I would probably find a different dentist.
You would.
Maybe.
I'm pretty sure.
I ended up getting up anyway. Look at this.
Yep.
I admit defeat. Okay, because we needed side cutters.
Well, it's hard to cut a zip tie without a tool.
I usually just use my teeth off camera.
Yeah, right. Says the person who's had a lot of dental work done.
I'm just kidding. I don't use my teeth. The camera crew does. All right, now I'm not sure if that's gonna stay put. I'm still trying to kind of decide if I wanna throw zip ties on there. I think it probably would have been better to just pull the thing straight, but we'll see. All right, so red goes down. So in this case, the orange goes down, okay. Lots of singing, lots of noises. Wait for it to initiate. Okay, we're initiated. So now we can go ahead and put the canopy on. Should have a nice warm glow. Look like a beautiful sunset, like what just happened a few minutes ago. Okay, red is right returning. I think we got everything set up now. So without further ado, we're gonna go outside. We'll show you exactly how this looks in the dark. It's gonna be cool. All right, guys, it's dark, so we're gonna see how this works. Throttle holds off.
Well, I can see that. Spinning
it up.
Whoa.
That's cool. Okay, you might want to stand back just a little bit.
Okay.
That is freaking cool. That is really neat, actually. Wow. I thought it was going to be the lamest thing ever, and it's pretty cool, actually. We would pick the one night that's actually windy. Oh man, that is really, really cool. Depth perception is less effective at night, and it just happens to be that it's windy. Oh, that is so cool. Oh my goodness. I love the transition from when it goes from red to green, and you can see red on half and green on the other half. You can definitely see where it is. The direction of travel is still challenging in my opinion, but you can definitely see the halo on the ground if you're close. That is really cool though. Okay, now guys, I'm gonna admit right now, and I've already said it a billion times in this video, so I feel like I've been pretty straightforward with you. I don't fancy myself some sort of an expert heli pilot, so I don't wanna give you guys the wrong impression, like I'm trying to pretend to be something I'm not. More of a fixed wing pilot, if anything. But that being said, this flight controller is awesome. And yes, there is a little bit of wind right now. I'm gonna go up a little bit and we're gonna do a loop. This flight controller is awesome. That is so cool. And then safe. That is awesome. It's almost easier to tell what's going on up there now because there's like no distractions. It's just the heli. Man, that is cool. All right, we're trying that again. That was so cool. And safe. Very responsive recovery. I mean, guys, that's incredible. I don't know if there's a panic button on this. I'm gonna try it. Okay, so I'm in intermediate now. Yep, there is the panic button. The trigger is a panic button. So panic, that is so cool. Oh, that is so cool that I did a barrel roll. Boy, you can cruise with it like this. It flies like an airplane in that mode. So camera crew, on a scale of 1 to 10, how concerned are you that I'm flying this thing crazier in the dark than I was in the light?
I'm not more concerned.
Okay, that's good.
Helis just make me a little more nervous in general.
Yeah, I mean, me too.
They're a lot harder to film.
Well, especially in the dark.
Actually, the lights help a ton, but they're just jumpier.
Well, that's me.
And
it just happens to be windy. What the heck?
I know.
It's usually not windy
right now
at night. And it's so weird. It's hazy and foggy and windy, and we still have a cool backdrop of pseudo light.
And like 40 degrees cooler than it was
2 days ago.
2 days ago.
Guys, this is like strangely cooler than I thought it was gonna be.
It's very cool.
And then, by the way, let's show them the controller. We have feedback, so we're down to 1.
Yep.
We're down to 1, so let's bring it in close and maybe we'll just kind of play it a little bit conservative here. All right, I might need to try to get a picture of me with it, not necessarily touching it. Are you good?
Yeah.
That is so cool. Look at that. Totally Enrique is calling me right now. He wants me to grab it. He's like, don't worry, Brian. You won't slaughter your hand and have to do your entire show with blood all over you. It'll be no big deal. Wow, that is so cool. It's just easy to fly, guys. Look at this. We're just chilling with it. And I mean, this is from a non-skilled RC pilot, okay? RC heli pilot. All right, I want to try this. I didn't do the cyclic rate for you. It spins pretty fast. It does get confusing as to what direction you're going if you're not used to flying this aircraft. And I love the little heartbeat on the flight controller. I love that you can see that from the side. That's so cool. Mm-hmm. Didn't I say something about landing earlier?
Yeah.
I did?
You did. I mean, no one believed you, but you did.
I know. Okay, folks, here we go. Okay, flashing. All right, throttle hold is on. Guys, that was really cool. I thought it was going to be a little bit lame, but it actually was super, super neat. And I'm so glad that we could share this with you. If you even got a little bit of pleasure out of this video, notwithstanding all the horribly boring times in the video, please give us a thumbs up. It really helps us with the algorithm on YouTube. And if you really want to support the channel, the best thing you can do is when you go to buy your stuff, buy it from our links below. You'll be supporting our channel financially, and that's how we pay to keep this thing coming. That being said, if you hate buying from the links and you want to just support us another way, we have Patreon, we have PayPal, and then of course, coming back and watching videos does really help too. And we really appreciate you guys. This thing is super cool. I don't know if it's for everybody, but I can tell you this. It's probably one of the favorite helis that I have. I mean, it's the most flyable. My little A10, is probably like my second favorite heli, but only because it's a scale plane or scale
Apache.
Sorry, I keep saying A10. I don't know why. Probably because they're in the same class. But anyway, the A10 Apache, the Apache is great. And it's one of my favorite helis because it's so beautifully scale put together. But I hated putting the battery in it, and it was a lot harder to fly. This thing is super easy to fly, super easy to load the batteries. Reasonable flight times, gives you a little bit extra flight time in my opinion. But the thing is, I think you could probably put a 1300 in there and have no problems. We got two batteries in here, 850 milliamp hour, and we've got the 800 milliamp hour, which essentially makes it like the size of a 4S. But we've also got the LEDs. Red is right returning. That is so cool. And then of course when it spins up, let's go ahead and spin it up a little bit here if we can do that. That's so cool. Just to give the people one last look. That is so cool.
That's very cool.
And then red. So cool. All right, guys, you know what to do. Come back for more. Thanks for watching. Just a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Nothing exciting going on. Nothing at all. Except for maybe that. Well, that is so cool. His pattern is right over the house. He just came from right here, camera crew. There he is. He's turning around here. He's gonna double back around. Oh, here he comes. He should spray the next row over. Hope he doesn't crash. That is so freaking cool. Holy crap. and the FAA is worried about our airplanes, Megan. That thing would take out our entire house. It would be like not even a question. That was so cool.
I thought we missed it this year. It was so long.
Yeah, I know. We always wait for this 1 yard. We were back in the pool the other day. And, yeah, he's coming. Oh, that is so cool. Okay, so I'm at 8 times zoom right now, but he's probably only like 2,000 feet away. We can smell the pesticides and herbicides. Probably not the healthiest maneuver. Like, hey kids, come out here. There's some poison going in the air. Yeah, you can smell it, can't you?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, but he's probably like, well, we're going to take out those idiots.
Probably needs that power.
Hey, I wonder if we could say we need balls on our power lines, man. Oh, here he comes. That is so insane. God, he's right freaking there. I mean, he's got to be like 10 feet over those power lines. That's just crazy. I mean, I'm sure it's a little bit higher than that, but you can feel the air from him coming over. Like, I don't know if you guys can see the bushes. Smells like herbicides and pesticides. You suppose it's probably just herbicides. Okay, so he's going to come over the top of the bowl this time, I think. Nope, right over the house again. Oh, that is freaking... That is so cool. The kids are inside. They decided they were going to avoid cancer today. I wish he'd just spray the whole yard. Whatever they're putting over there, I'm sure it's good for our stuff too. You know, I don't know. It could be herbicides. It's going to be some sort of side.
Yes.
And the wind's blowing at us, so don't worry, guys.
We're safe.
We're holding our breaths.
Yeah.
And talking. Wind's at our face. Oh, that is so crazy.
He's
all right.
Done, right?
No, he's doing the whole yard. He's doing this whole 40 acres over here. You can tell I'm filming too because this is bouncy and crappy. Let's go see him. Oh, that's so cool. I don't want him to think we're watching, but we are. Oh, that is so cool. He's gonna go right over the bowl, Megan. Man, that is incredible. Oh yeah, I feel all the air coming over. Every time he goes over, I can feel it. For all of you that are annoyed about all the chemicals they just sprayed on the yard over there, just remember, you have to eat too. And this treatment is at an extremely low level for you. Hey, everybody's covering their face, right? That is so cool. Man, that is awesome. It's actually not even that loud. I don't know why he keeps going over here. I think he's trying to get his line right because the way the wind is shifting. Oh, here he comes. Jeez. He's getting right next to the trees and everything. That's awesome. Yeah. That is so cool. I've got most of it. It's so cool. Oh, he's gonna go right over. Woo! Good old mouthful of poison. The cats are freaking out, you say? I wonder why he keeps hitting that same side. I think he's having trouble getting the stuff to lay down. How much of this are we going to film, camera crew?
I don't know. It only happens once a year.
Well, it depends on if he actually gets it. I just don't know. He seems like he's doing the same area quite a bit. That is so cool, though. Well, I think he's going away. I think he might be done for a little bit. I wonder if he ran out or if he just hit all his areas. Camera crew, what do you say about that?
Is he done?
I think he's done.
Aw. That's
All right.
so cool.
Smells like fertilizer and or
The breathing part.
the breathing part. Minus that, it's great. All right, go buy some corn. All right, come back for more.